Okay, I apologize for that. Let me start over. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to YouTube Tuesday with me, Jessica Brigden of JessBCreativeCardiology. And what I was sharing up to that point was that last Friday we made a couple of over-the-top, fun-fold, amazing technique cards. And today we're going to simplify it a little bit. All right, sometimes we need something quick, something easy, something fast. And so for this project, you need one 12 by 12 sheet of designer series paper, and we're going to use that for both the card and the treat. So we're making a quick card and a treat for your sweet. Okay, and I'm using the Marbled Elegance paper from Stampin'. It does have the Heartfelt Elegance stamp set and dies that coordinate. However, I'm going to be using the heart-shaped bundle. This is a free celebration item. That means during the month of January and February here with Stampin' Up, if you order in the US $60 or more, you can choose a free celebration item. This item, however, is a bundle. It's not only the stamp set, but there's also a set of dies. Okay, so this bundle is free with a $120 purchase. All right, you get both the stamps and the dies for free with a $120 order. So I'm going to use this bundle with the Marbled Elegance paper for today's projects. Okay, so apologize for that bit of no sound there. I think somehow I accidentally hit the mute button. But we're gonna flip the camera and we'll get right to it now. Okay, so thank you for those of you that jumped on early and were able to help me determine my sound issues. All right, I'm gonna put this here. That is my host code. All right, so if you do place an order and it's under $150, then be sure to use my host code because that helps associate your order with me as your demonstrator, so I can send you my demo perks, my free tutorials, and my workshop fun fold card kit of the month, and all of that awesomeness. Okay, so let's start here with our card first. All right, so I said this is gonna be pretty simple. So I'm starting out with a half sheet, and I'm going with cherry cobbler, because this was the sheet that I started out with. Let me show you like I said, 12 by 12. All right, so for the 12 by 12, all right, here's my paper. Okay, so the sheet I used in whole was this one. All right, so this has a lot of cherry cobbler and real red, a little bit of melon mambo swirl through there along with the gold foil. Okay, so this is what I started out with. And so that's why I went with a cherry cobbler card base. And I'm also going to be using the cherry cobbler and gold foil satin ribbon. I love this. This is not part of the Sweet collection. This is carried over from the Regal Flora collection in the Holiday Mini. But I love it. I'm so glad this ribbon is sticking around. It's 164028, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it ties so nicely. All right, so I started out with this. We have a half sheet of cherry cobbler for our card base, just a 5.5 by 8.5. Go ahead, fold and score that here at 4 1/4. And of course, don't forget a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white for the inside. Okay, let's do that before we forget about it. Sometimes I forget. Then I go to send the card and then I have to put an insert back in there. Hi, Pam. Hello, hello. All right. How cold is it? It's cold again. We were back today. The high is 20 degrees. And I was reading a little bit earlier today. It was like 18. And then we have these gusty winds that come through at like 30 some miles an hour, which makes the wind chill feel like -3. So we had some balmy weather over the weekend when it was in the 30s. And today we're back in the teens. And the next couple days is going to be super cold. So yep, we're having a true winter here this year. Okay, so like I said, I wanted to use this piece, And so for the first part, for the card, all right, I cut my piece to, and I wanted to have a nice border around it. So I actually cut this to 3.5 by 4 3/4. Okay, so that's gonna be your first part, 3.5 by 4 3/4. And what I wanted is some of this gold foil to pop, especially with this heart-shaped bundle. One of the feature dies is this pretty wreath, and you can layer this over the stamped image, which is what we're going to do. So I cut my gold at 3 3/4 by 5. All right, so that gives me a 1/2 inch border of the card all the way around it. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. For this one, you do need your full-size cut and emboss or your Big Shot. Okay, this will not fit through the mini machine because it's just a little bit too wide. But because I'm layering this behind my designer paper, I went ahead and die cut my beautiful heart wreath. Isn't that so pretty? And look how nicely it cuts. That was just one pass through my die cut machine. Oh, good, Kathy. Your order arrived yesterday. That's awesome. All right, so how gorgeous is that? So pretty. All right, and that's a great way to maximize your gold foil too, especially if you're using it as a layer. Nobody's gonna see this part in the middle, so you might as well maximize your paper the best you can. Okay, so now that we've got that die cut, we are going to layer our marbled Elegance paper on top. Hello, Luann. How are you? Made sure I am stocked up on adhesive refills today. We have a running joke. Whenever Luann pops in, I always seem to run out of adhesive. Oops, you don't need my hair in there. Speaking of that, I'm scheduled for a haircut on Friday. It has been, you know, like usually twice a year I'll go in for a trim, just a little touch up. But I think I want to, I don't know. I'm not thinking anything crazy because David does like it long. But I'm thinking I want to go and take like a couple inches off. I don't know. My hairdresser, Casey, is amazing. She's a good friend of mine. And so I'll see what she says. But I think I want to do something fun. So you got to make sure you tune in on Friday because I'm getting my hair done Friday morning. And then I will be live here Friday afternoon. So, all right. So we've got this layered. Again, I did not put any adhesive in the middle of my designer paper because I didn't want it, you know, sticking to my table, okay? But now that we've got this part, let's go ahead and add a little bit of ribbon to the bottom of our card. I'm adding that, about 1 inch up from the bottom because we are going to, I use the die cut, excuse me, die cut circles from the Stylish Shapes dies. This is the 3 3/4 inch circle. All right, and so I'm going to layer this so that we can stamp our heart in the middle. So this is about where it's going to be placed. All right, so we're going to place our ribbon here about 1 inch up from the bottom. Okay, so trim this off. And that way we can tuck the ends of the ribbon behind. Oh, Karen, you're getting a haircut on Friday too, 4 inches. Ooh, okay. So I'm definitely gonna have to take a before and after because I see Casey all the time, but we never get a chance to talk. So, and of course, when I go see her, it's like a little catch-up session too. And we always get so carried away that we forget to do before and after. Yes, Louie, my mom would say the same thing. My mom has very thin hair, and she would love it if if I could make some extensions for her. Thankfully, I take after my dad's side of the family, and so I do have some of that nice, thick hair. My paternal grandmother, my dad's mom, she had the most amazing, gorgeous, thick, wavy hair. It was pure white. I mean, it was beautiful. Like none of this like purple or different colors, but hers was pure white and it was thick and gorgeous. And I always figured if I had to be white, I would love it to be like hers because it was absolutely gorgeous. my Uncle Fred, my father's oldest brother, takes after her, and he's got gorgeous, thick, wavy white hair. My dad, thankfully, he's going gray, but he's not too much. All right, so I'm just doing a simple little knot here as I get carried away talking. But I don't know. I've found a few grays. I've been pulling them out, so I don't know. They better not come in too far, or I'll be bald. But it better not be true. I hope two don't grow back in their place for everyone that I yank, because that, again, that would be a disaster. But on my mom's side, well, they had fairly thin hair. They kept their color. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, really never went. She had just a little bit of gray, you know, in her 80s, but really she kept her color, and she didn't dye it. She had good color all the way, you know, all the way through. So I'm hoping that that's the case, that I'm hoping it doesn't really go gray, but if it does, then I hope it just goes pure gorgeous white like my other grandmother's. So, but I guess we don't really have any control over those things. All right, so as I've been chatting here, all right, so we did our little ribbon here across with the cherry cobbler and gold satin ribbon, tucked the ends behind and adhered it to the card base. All right, and then of course these will relax a little bit too once I kind of position them in an envelope and kind of let it take shape a little bit here. Okay, so we've got our 3 1/4 stitch circle, and I lined those up because I wanted to make sure the full heart would go here on top of the circle. Kat says her aunt had pure white hair and always said she knew her hair would be white, so you quit coloring it. Yeah, yep, I've had some friends that are trying to go pure white as well, as Karen says, and sometimes it is a little bit of a trial to get maybe some of that color worked out. I don't know, I'm not quite there yet. I'm hoping my color stays. I have no intention of coloring it. What you see is my natural color. All right, so for our card here, I thought, let's go, I want to do some different colors, and I want this beautiful wreath to peek out from behind, and then I'm going to layer the gold over top. So I think I'm going to do real red for this, okay, and then I will do cherry cobbler for my sentiment inside the heart, and that way we've got a couple of those shades of red to coordinate here with our paper. So real red for our heart right here in the center of our circle. Ooh, look how pretty. Okay, very nice. And just a tip, make sure you clean your ink pads or your stamp quickly. Okay, this is photopolymer and the reds do stain just a little bit, so go ahead and just clean that quick. The other thing you can do, if you want to prevent that a little bit, is you could first stamp in some Versamark, all right, the clear Versamark ink pad, and then in your color, and that will help your stamp too. Okay, so we've got the stamp. It's beautiful. I should have used my adhesive sheet on this foil so that I could just tack it down. I didn't do that, so we are going to use a couple of glue dots. Here we go. And so I'm going to go right here in the center at that widest part. Okay, and then I'm gonna go right at the tip. Okay, also there at that widest part. Okay, so I'm just gonna do 2 glue dots. I think that will be sufficient, but yes, if you made it this far in the video before attempting this yourself, my tip would be to cut some adhesive sheet, adhere it to the back of the gold foil, and then die cut, and that way you could just peel it and stick it right on and you wouldn't have to worry about it. All right, but this is pretty good. You really can't see. The glue dot is pretty well hidden there between the 2 points. All right, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's pick a sentiment here. And I think this main sentiment, my thoughts of you are all heart-shaped. I think that will fit. Let's see here. That will just fit there on the inside. Okay, that's what I want to do. And I'm going to stamp that in Cherry Cobbler so that it's just a shade darker than the leaves, than the heart that I stamped. Okay, so we're going to ink this up with some Cherry Cobbler. My ink pad needs to be re-inked, so that's why if it's juicy, definitely just keep to the tap tap, but mine needs a little bit of ink. So okay, right there in the center. Ooh, perfect. It fits perfectly. All right, you can tell the difference in the colors. Okay, again, clean your ink pad, your stamp here real quick to keep that nice and tidy. Okay, and then we do have these cute little flowers here. So you could, this actually looks so pretty just like that. You could keep it just like that. If you want to step it up a little bit, you could take the 3 flowers. All right, that's a single stamp. And we have a die for that as well. And we could take a little scrap, here we go, from the paper I die cut my circle from. All right, let's go with the Cherry Cobbler. And 3 little flowers here. Okay. And then we can die cut that at the same time. Okay. And that will fit through our little mini, okay? Because of course this is much smaller. So let's add our plates here. Clear plates 1 and 2. All right, trim this off just a bit so it'll fit through. There we go. All right. Line that up. All right, pinch it and crank. Okay, oh, look how perfect that came out. I love it when it's all one piece. All right, that looks good. We've got that. And so if we want, we could add just a little heart. Maybe we'll do that right up there on the side. Okay, let's grab our dimensionals. I think I'm gonna use the edge piece because, let me see, actually I've got some minis. Do I have some minis? Yes, all right, minis will be perfect. And that way I don't have to trim anything. Okay, just put 2 little minis here on the side. So pretty. Yeah, I think that looks really cute. Then we'll use the full size on our circle. I like to make a little triangle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then right in the center. Beautiful. All right, we need some little pearls or something for the center. And let's see here, I'm thinking our Regal foil dots have Cherry Cobbler. And I thought I had some of those open. All right, I might have to open a new pack. I thought I had some already open, but but I'm not seeing them. I'm quickly going through my embellishments pile. Okay, so we're gonna open this new pack of Regal foil dots, and I think these will work good because they have the little flecks of gold in them, so that'll be perfect. Bye, Karen. Thanks for popping in on your lunch. Be sure to tune in and finish the video and replay later. Okay, so yes, I'm gonna take these little cherry cobbler Regal Flora dots in the center of my flowers. Let's shove that one over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so they've got some nice gold foil flecks in them. Really beautiful. Okay, so this is our fairly simple card. Okay. And then out of that same sheet of Marbled Elegance Designer Series paper, okay, this time I have a piece, and this is gonna vary depending on your chocolate, okay? So if you're using a Hershey's chocolate bar, I think it's gonna be the same height, but it might be a little bit thinner. I was looking through, of all things, I did not have any Hershey's chocolate bars, but I did find this yummy bar of Grenada chocolate. We have friends that live down in the West Indies, in the island of Grenada. Hi, Becky. Hello, hello. And so this is what I found. I had it in my fridge. Okay, thank you for liking and sharing. I really appreciate that. So just whatever chocolate bar you have, measure the height first, okay? And you want it to be, your paper to be a little bit taller, just a little bit bigger than the height of your chocolate bar. So I went with 6 inches here, all right? Because my chocolate bar is about 5 3/4. So I went 6 inches in the height on my paper. And then honestly, I took my paper and from the edge and I just kind of wrapped it around my chocolate bar, okay? Just to get a feel. Didn't put any creases in it, but just kind of got the feel, an idea, and then lined that up. And that was like, okay, so that was about 6.5, 7 inches here, okay? So I took this and I cut it from 6 inches high, and then I went at 6.5 inches long. All right, because I wanted it to overlap, but I didn't want it to be, I didn't want a huge overlap. So I'm thinking it might be a little bit, I probably should have gone with 7 inches just to be safe, so I didn't have, so it's not quite so tight, because this, for our treat, what we're doing is making a chocolate slider. All right, so for this, okay, take your paper, 6 by 6.5 or 7, and then we need a little bit of tear and tape, and I had that, here we go, I have that, it's now in the bottom of my pile, okay, and what you're gonna do is take one edge of your, okay, so this is the height is 6 inches, so on the long side, all right, so on one of the short sides here, on the 6-inch side, you want to put a line of tear and tape, okay, just right down that edge. Okay, this is on the decorative, on the marbled side, okay, and if you went a little bit wider on your paper, you might want to flip it over, and on the opposite side, put a second piece of tear and tape. All right, so that this can secure on the flap. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's take this one. We're gonna take these off, okay? So I'm gonna try not to stick it to anything in the moment. All right, set that aside for right now. What we wanna do is take our ribbon. All right, so give yourself a tail at the top, okay? So you want a couple inches at the top because you need to be able to tie this in a knot and have enough to use as a pull tab. Okay, so this is just a chocolate slider. So I've got about 3 inches here. Okay, and I'm going to tie those. You want to give yourself enough. If your fingers have trouble maneuvering, give yourself an extra length of ribbon there, make it longer, and you can always trim it off, okay? So I don't necessarily have a specific measurement here for the ribbon because it's going to be based on the height of your chocolate, okay? So if I were to divide this by 2, then my ribbon is about 18 inches, okay? All right, so put this, make sure you tie your ribbon on your chocolate first, okay? I'm going to place mine face down in the center of my designer paper. All right, and then I'm going to pull over one flap first, okay? Pull it nice and tight. This one has the adhesive on the marbled side. All right, and then I take the adhesive off of the print side. Hi, Doris. Hello, hello. Hi, Sherry. Good to have you watching. I hope you're having a fun afternoon with Doris. All right, and then just pull that tight. Like I said, I probably should have gone at 7 inches for this as opposed to 6.5. All right, just make sure the height is the same there. All right, pull that nice and tight, okay? And then, there we go. You wanna make sure you don't glue it to the chocolate, all right? Make sure your paper's glued to itself, you know, that they overlap. And then you have this fun, you pull the ribbon and your chocolate slides out, and then you can just push it back in, all right? And that way you don't have to worry about your chocolate falling out the bottom. It's nice, you wanna make sure that's pulled nice and snug, that wrapper of designer paper around it, okay? And then there you go. So you can always, you could decorate the front as well. You could do the same thing. You could put a, we could do another little die cut heart or something there on the front. Let's see here. I've got, I feel like it needs just a little something. And I've got some scraps of gold foil. All right, I keep my scraps here in a clear envelope so that I've got some. Okay, so let's just do, I've got a little scrap. And this time, since I told you to use the adhesive sheets, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, I also keep my scraps of adhesive sheets in here. And for this, let's see here. All right, so I'm just gonna use my snips. All right, and trim that off. Okay, so I'll put this chunk of adhesive sheet on the back of my foil. All right, so even though the adhesive sheets are 6 by 12, you can cut them down and just use little bits at a time. You don't always have to do a whole 6 by 12 piece of adhesive, okay? So we've got that on there. And we've got our plates. Alrighty, that just fits. This can go right up to like 3 1/4 inches. Okay, and then we've got our wreath. So place that on there. All right, and our second clear plate. All right, we're gonna crank this through. Come on. There we go. Who said crafting wasn't a workout, right? Sometimes you gotta use your muscles. Alrighty, so because I used the adhesive sheet, now this pops out beautifully, okay? No problem there. All right, just take out that inside part. I'll save that for another project. Now, all I need to do is just gently pull at the end, and look at that. The backing comes right off. Come on. Just a little bit more. There we go. And now I can take my beautiful heart and place that right on the front of my slider. Okay, and that's it. I don't have to use any glue dots or anything like that. That adhesive sheet worked perfect. All right, so there we go. Simple card and treat for your suite. All right, this is using Stampin' Up's Marbled Elegance paper. Of course, you can use any paper. We used a piece that was 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then the second piece here is 6 inches by 7. Okay. And again, that will change a little bit depending on the size of your chocolate bar. All right, maybe you got a skinny one, or maybe you went with the extra large, right? Whatever your chocolate heart desires there. But again, that's all you have to do is make just a simple wrap, adhere it with some with some tear and tape. I definitely recommend tear and tape. It's thinner, it's only 1/4 inch wide, and it has a super strong hold. I would not recommend using liquid glue or Stampin' Seal for this, again, because the liquid glue is gonna have to take time to dry and you don't want it seeping through, all right? You just wanna make sure that you don't have any adhesive stuck to the chocolate bar itself. Otherwise, it's not gonna pull through. It's just gonna be stuck in there. But the nice thing about this treat holder is the recipient does not have to tear apart the packaging in order to get it. All they have to do is pull on the ribbon, okay? So there you go. All right, just a fun, simple idea. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me that thumbs up, that like, subscribe if you're new to my channel, if you haven't already. And I do appreciate it when you share as well. All right, stay warm, have a great week. And remember, tune in on Friday. Check out my new haircut. All right, thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.